Hello, everyone. Well, today we have a slasher taking place inside an abandoned amusement park and a bunch of young people who happen to be in that amusement park. If that doesn't raise the hackles on your horror heads, I don't know what will. But it's fantastic. I loved it. We're going to talk about all that right now. All right, so the book we're going to be talking about today is called Hide by Kiersten White. And I love the concept of this book. It's what first drew me to it when people started talking about it on Twitter. And I knew I couldn't wait for it because it checks off a lot of boxes for me. So basically, this book is about a reality show. Now, this reality show is going to take place in an abandoned amusement park in an unknown location. And the contestants are 14 contestants in all. All of them are 20-something years old. And, of course, because it's a horror book, you know, it's not everybody's going to make it out of there. and they don't. But I love the concept, and at first I was thinking, okay, we know it's a horror book. There's 14 people going into this abandoned amusement park. What could it be that's doing all the killing in there? I thought maybe a serial killer, an ex-employee, a disgruntled ex-employee of the park. Maybe a cult lives in the park and are picking them off one by one, things like that. I was wrong on both of those thoughts, as I am often want to do. But it turned out to be something even more chilling and more horrific than a serial killer stalking an amusement park. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Well, basically, this amusement park is in an unknown location. It's been abandoned for a long time. It's dilapidated. It's run down. Nobody has upkept it or anything. Even the contestants don't know where they are. They don't know what state they're in. They don't know really where they are in relation to the world. All they know is that their cell phones do not work there. And they had to sign this non-disclosure agreement that was pretty hefty. And the rules there are simple. They're going to go inside this amusement park and be locked in for 7 days. And they're going to live there. They're going to have a place provided for them to sleep. There's going to be showers available. They're going to have enough food and water and drinks to be sure that they're not starving to death or dehydrated for the entire week, right? All of it courtesy of the show that is supposed to be sponsored by a sporting company, a sporting goods company. And none of them know why they were picked, but they all feel pretty lucky to be there because they're playing for $50,000 and the rules are simple. They're going to be playing a game all week long of hide and seek. These 14 contestants are the hiders, and then there's other people who are going to be seeking them. Whenever somebody gets caught, they are out. And like I said, the rules are fairly simple. From sunup to sundown, every day, the game is on, no matter what. If somebody has to drop out because of a medical emergency, if somebody has to drop out because they're in a good hiding place but had to go somewhere and urinate or find the bathroom, whatever the case is, it doesn't matter. The game is on from sunup to sundown. They have to be hidden by sunup. If they get caught, they're out. They don't get $50,000. That's the basic premise and setup for this reality show that happens. Of course, people start getting killed. People start getting killed in horrible ways. They start getting hacked and slashed to death, unbeknownst to the other contestants. But like I said, it's not a serial killer that's doing this. It's not a disgruntled ex-employee. It's not a cult that actually lives in the amusement park. It's much, much worse. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it definitely, once things are starting to be revealed and once the remaining contestants realize that this is more than just a game, this is more than just a show where they're going to win money, that they have been duped, that they have been fooled, they have been bamboozled. And by the time they figure that out, they're still locked in this abandoned amusement park, and they know that they are now being hunted, not just for a game, but the stakes here are their actual lives. And once they realize that, as things are revealed, it goes off, at the end, this book kind of goes off into Lovecraftian territory, which completely got me, completely came out of left field, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was much scarier, much more frightening, with that aspect of it when we got to the end. I was pretty intrigued the whole way. There are 14 different contestants that are playing this game. And of course, some of them are there just for murder fodder. They are just there to be killed off, so we can, really focus in on a few characters that are going to be like the main characters in this book. But I still liked the amount of characters that were here, and I liked each one's personality, because at the beginning we do get to see and hear from each one, even in just a couple paragraphs, their thoughts and their thinking and how they got to be there, and the things they've had going on in their life, why they decided to do this competition. As they're thinking to themselves, the author reveals to us what they're thinking. But yeah, we're not going to find out a whole lot about the background of each character. We're going to focus on a couple. But you have a jock, you have a wannabe social media influencer, you have a wannabe YouTube prank channel star, you got somebody who considers himself a writer and yet he hasn't written a thing, he's got writer's block, and you got a guy who wants to be the next big graffiti artist, kind of like the next Banksy, I guess you can say. You have a guy who's just there to make friends, one of the friendliest guys you're ever going to meet, and he don't know why he was chosen, but he lives a pretty lonely life, pretty secluded, and he's just happy to be around other people, and hopefully he just wants to make some friends along the way. So, the thing about characters like this is that if you've ever watched an actual reality show, if you've ever been a fan of Survivor or Big Brother, you are going to recognize these character types that this author has chosen to put in. And that's why, to me, it was very realistic. The choices she made, the different aspects of their characters and their personalities really struck true with me, because I used to watch a lot of those Survivor, Big Brother reality shows, and those are the people these companies pick, these shows pick, because they know there's going to be conflict and drama because of the different socio-economic, religious backgrounds of each one, So I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed them a lot. And the two, more than two, but really the two main characters we focused on, Mac and Ava. Mac, or Mackenzie, I guess you can say, she has had something happen in her past that is just horrifying. You'll have to read that to find out. But this has changed her completely. It's changed her mentally and emotionally, made her withdrawn. She doesn't trust anybody. She doesn't want to be friends with anybody. She just wants to be invisible and left alone. And she dresses and acts that way. She just wants to blend in. She doesn't want any attention or focus on her because of what has happened in her past. It's very traumatizing and very horrible, as you'll see. And Ava is the exact opposite of Mac. Ava is an ex-military chick. She's buff. She had her leg almost blown off during combat, and so she kind of got a bum leg. But she's got an attitude, and she's very outgoing. She's very outspoken, and yet somehow, throughout the course of this book, Mac and Ava wind up being buddies, being allies, being friends. And those are the two main characters we focus on as they start discovering what's going on in this amusement park, why they're finding blood, why are they finding clothing that was worn by some of these other contestants after the game is done for the day, and what has happened to them. Because they realize they're being manipulated, they were lied to get there, and but the reason why all these people, all 14 of them, were chosen when that part is revealed, I thought was brilliant, because it makes sense when we get to the final and find out what's actually going on there. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I loved it. I thought the concept was great. I couldn't wait to read it, and I finally got the chance. And I have no complaints about this book. I think you should definitely read it. It's definitely a slasher book with a Lovecraftian twist, and you'll love the characters and all the action that takes place while they're inside this amusement park. It's very well written, and I think it's the perfect length. It's a full-length book, but it didn't overstay its welcome. I thoroughly, thoroughly recommend it. Hide. Yeah. I'll leave a link down below to Amazon if you want to purchase it from there. I'll also leave a link down below to my social media. Join me on Instagram, Twitter, what have you. And I'd love to have you. And as always, thank you for taking some of your time spending it with me. I really, really appreciate it. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.